Hi guys, it's Marc Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, and I am at one of my favorite places on earth, Tomorrowland in Disneyland. And it's now being transformed into Star Wars land. There's already the Star Tours ride and a great Star Wars exhibit of props and costumes and all sorts of things in the building that used to be Carousel of Progress. But I want to talk for a moment about Tomorrowland because it's always been one of my favorite places. And it was initially a great staging place for dreams of the future. Disneyland opened the year I was born, and I grew up in Southern California, so I've been coming here forever. And when I first came here, they actually had the sets from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, so you could see Captain Nemo's pipe organ, all that stuff. It was terrific. The Nautilus, you could walk through it. And my favorite ride was the trip to the moon. And I actually have the entire audio track of that great ride, where you would go inside, you'd sit in this circular room, you'd experience weightlessness, limited weightlessness, let us say, and they had a round screen on the top and a round screen on the bottom. You got to launch from the Earth, fly to the moon, see the dark side of the moon. It was an astonishing ride. This is before man landed on the moon, so it was a great experience and a great flight of fancy. Walt Disney, of course, was one of the great supporters of the manned space flight journey that we took through the 1950s and into the 60s, and then of course abandoned, so we're no longer sending people out into space beyond low Earth orbit. But hopefully sometime in the near future that will change with SpaceX, etc., and we will send people to Mars and beyond, let's hope. But here we are in Tomorrowland, and for a while Tomorrowland kind of lost its way. There were great rides when I was a kid, like Inner Space, and they tore that up and threw that away, sadly. You'd go into an Atom. It was a wonderful ride narrated by the great Paul Frees, but they built Star Tours. Now, many people don't know that Star Tours has many alternate versions, so if you ride it a number of times, you can see many, many different versions of it. Great fun, and they've also started introducing characters and themes from The Force Awakens and so forth, and they're building an entire Star Wars land that'll be open in the next 2 years. But it's been a great time here. But again, I was thinking about Star Wars versus the vision of the future proposed in Tomorrowland, in the original Tomorrowland, because the original Tomorrowland also had the Carousel of Progress, which was a building that actually turned. It's behind me now. It's a Star Wars exhibit now, but that was originally built for the 1964 New York World's Fair. And you'd also see underwater cities. There were many wonderful things that were being proposed for the future that we all thought we would get. We all thought we'd be living in underwater cities, colonies on the moon, all of that sort of thing. And the ride to the moon became the ride to Mars in later years. And we were still looking forward. If you think about Star Wars is actually not looking forward. It's not a future we're going to get. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's the past, the distant past, and distant far from us in terms of space. It's actually science fantasy, not science fiction. So I think the more that we talk about futures that are possible and futures that look forward and futures that look upward, the better. Space Command is certainly that. Star Trek in previous iterations has certainly been that, though now it feels more like nostalgia than something looking ahead, as does the moon landing, of course. Almost 50 years back, 2019 will be the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, and also, ironically, the year that Blade Runner is set in, so we better get to work on those flying cars and replicants before it's too late. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to check in from the great Disneyland, from Tomorrowland, which has been great in the past and will be great again, I think, in the future when they open the Star Wars land. I've been on the Star Tours on the Star Tours ride many times today. Will be again. And but again, I want to just applaud Walt Disney and the Imagineers for the great vision of tomorrow that they gave us. Ray Bradbury, of course, knew and really admired Walt Disney, as did Disney Ray. And they both shared a vision of the future and helped make it happen with Walt's TV shows and Tomorrowland and Ray's books and his work with the space program. Going to the moon was not a foregone conclusion. Men had to will it and make it happen and get the governments involved and so forth, and it happened. And it's continuing to happen with men of goodwill around the world, men and women. So that's it for now, Mr. Sci-Fi, Marc Zicree of Space Command. We'll talk to you again really soon. Bye-bye.